It is 3:30 and our clerk has asked me to get the meeting started. I believe the first order of business in the absence of our chairman and vice chairman is the election of a temporary chair.
We have to call the roll first.
Okay. Will the clerk call the roll?
Yes. Mr. Wolke?
Here.
Mrs. Oda?
Here.
Mrs. Ehrlich?
Here.
Mr. Titterington?
Here.
Mr. Westmeyer? Mr. Packard? Mr. McGarrett? There's a quorum.
Okay. Our first item of business is the election of a temporary chair.
Move to appoint Mr. Wolke as the temporary chair.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Approval of minutes.
I didn't hear an aye from Mr. Wolke, but that's okay.
It was a conflict of interest.
Yeah, right.
Approval of minutes.
I move the minutes be approved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They are approved. Okay, the next item on the agenda is historic district application for 101 East Water Street for various modifications. Does staff have a report?
Yes, sir. The applicants, David and Suzanne Burley, which Mr. Burley is here in the audience with us today. If you have any questions, they're requesting Planning Commission for approval for some modifications at their property at 101 East Water Street. These modifications include painting the garage, replacing the garage doors, and replacing the patio and walkway in the rear yard. This property is zoned R7 multifamily residential and is located on the corner of East Water Street and North Walnut Street. OHI form describes the property as part of the old residential section near the core of the city. It's a neoclassical veranda, diagonal front entry door, and this property is not listed on the National Registry. The applicants are proposing the following modifications. Like I mentioned, repaint the existing detached garage from the current yellow color to the Valspar Cool Gray 7006-10 and paint the trim with Valspar Very Black 5011-12 to match the existing.
Can you pause there and do a little Vanna White if you know who she is? To
Yes.
show everybody, so
So in your packet, the cool white did not show up. This is a,
walking around.
that's okay.
Huh?
That's all right.
Oh, you don't want to get that
No,
close?
no.
Okay.
6 feet. But the cool white will match the aluminum siding that's currently on the house. The garage, like I said, is a pretty stark yellow. It doesn't match the house whatsoever. So
So that's a cool gray, you said.
this is a cool white.
It says cool gray in here.
I'm sorry. Cool gray. Yes, cool gray.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
And then very black
Very
is the
black. Okay.
trim color that will match the trim of the house as well. The next modification is the applicant would like to remove the existing patio and walkway. They would replace the existing flagstone and pea gravel back patio area and the brick paver walkway that goes from the house and patio to the garage and replace that with a poured concrete. The third request will be to replace the existing and what we believe is the original wood carriage doors on the detached garage. They're proposing to replace those doors with two 8x8 traditional white stamped steel garage doors. The applicant has proposed installing black hardware, giving the appearance of an actual hinge door, kind of like what a carriage door would look like. The application has been reviewed for compliance and meets all the requirements within the zoning code except for the design standards for the historic review. Staff recommends approval of the items of repainting and the patio and walkway modifications. For the garage door replacement, staff actually gives a negative recommendation on that, given that the doors appear to be original. In light of this recommendation, Mr. Burley has provided staff today with a quote from Stoll Woodworks. We asked them to reach out to them because they're professionals in restoring historic wood materials. That quote was according to the owner, on the low end of $5,000, and which is going to be much more expensive than replacing the doors with something more modern and actually give them more security, because the original doors have glass. That's one of his issues, is the glass continues to get broken out. The original wood doors can't shut, don't provide any weatherization, which is part of the reason why he's seeking for approval on replacing these. In the packet, I did include a photo of a neighboring property on North Walnut Street. This is across the street from 101 East Water on the Walnut side. That property owner does have the same white steel stamp doors that this applicant is requesting. So in light of the proposal from Stoll Woodworks, staff does actually understand that replacing these may actually be a better option than taking that high cost of repairing the existing.
So the staff recommendation has changed on the doors from a negative to a positive?
Yes.
Any questions of staff?
Yeah, isn't there an in-between? I would hate to lose that look and go to a solid door. And I know that they have various options out there, mainly because the biggest garage door company in the world, I think, is located in Troy. Is there anything that adds, any alternatives that could add some architectural feature or relief than rather having solid? I think the picture that you gave us with the solid doors, is that farther, what would that be, south on Walnut? Or
It's actually more towards the north,
towards the north?
towards the river.
I mean, are there other options?
They could possibly get a different design door that does have some glass in it. I know they have a somewhat replicable carriage look garage door that actually rolls up. That's kind of why the applicant proposed having those, the black hinges and stuff placed on the door to give it more of that carriage door look. Not having the glass due to security, there are apartments behind them, the duplexes behind them that, per the owner, they have some run-ins with the kids and everything through there, which is part of the reason the doors are in the condition they are. There's not much of that glass remaining on the originals. So he preferred not to have glass due to just security reasons.
In that the applicant is here, would you like to add anything or make any comment? Could you identify yourself, please?
I'm Dave Byerly, the owner of the property. We just moved there this summer and we enjoy it. I would like to replace the garage doors just mostly because of security. The security, well, how I want to say this. The neighborhood is not the greatest behind me, and we've had problems with the kids and stuff in that neighborhood. And I'm concerned with my property and my equipment in that garage. And I just would like it all secure. And I also, carriage doors do not function very good in the wintertime. So that's another reason I was requesting a roll-up door. And I went to the stand, they're this stamped just for the fact the garage that we were discussing, the neighbor, is just catty corner from me. It's like right across the street. So I was matching what was already on my block, and that's why I picked that solid door also. Any questions?
But
I don't
yours
wanna-
would,
Go ahead.
thank you. Yours would have the black hinges, door, whatever, handles, whatever, which is more than what your neighbor has.
Right. I was trying to represent or duplicate what was sort of there, but it is not a requirement for me to put those on. Those were added on features. I figured with the black trim that we were going to on the windows to match the house, the black hardware would actually look good.
I certainly don't want to predict the vote of the members here. However, there are only 4 of us here.
Yeah.
and we are 4 out of 7.
I understand.
That means unanimous, okay?
Yeah.
So if there is a concern to maybe give a split recommendation of approving all but the door, would that create an issue for you?
I could go ahead and do everything else and come back in for the doors at a later time, is what you're saying?
I'm just indicating
Yeah.
that,
Yes.
or, I believe it is possible, if somebody wants to make a motion, they could make a split motion.
Okay.
I'm not asking for a split motion, I'm simply saying that I believe that's available to you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, he actually recommended, and I did go down the channel of having a quote done, because I was just curious, and no one does this kind of work anymore. Stalls is about the only one, and when he came out and he stuck a pin in that door where the wood was rotten and stuff, I knew that was no longer an option to fix what was on there.
Any more questions from the commission? Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Before we vote on it, though, do we have any kind of picture of what it'll look like with the black on it? Here's my reservation, a little bit, lot less than after reading the planning commission, is that we have this one that's north, but it's not on the corner. It's not along a fairly well-traveled road, Water Street. So I just want to make sure, so the garage is facing the Walnut Street side. So that's a little better, except that as you're going east, you're going to see that garage traveling past Walnut Street. So do we have any indication of what that's going to look like? I like the fact that there be some black. I get it that it would fit in, and I don't know who approved the other one, but apparently we have kind of set that example. Staff comfortable with the description without seeing a picture of the black?
Given my experience and when doing the research for this, I saw multiple variations of it, but nothing quite like what the owner was proposing. So I didn't want to present something that had hardware that wasn't accurate to what they were talking about, with it just being some of the. Well, that's what my
picture of that.
Okay, well,
That
here.
might ease the concerns.
That's what my wife picked out.
So she messed up on the time, but she said.
Okay, why don't you show them?
I was curious.
Does that roll up still? It looks like it has handles and that rolls up?
Yeah. They're all decorative, that's all.
These garage doors are beautiful. It's too bad they're rotten. But I like them.
We'll need a copy of that.
Are there any other questions or comments? Clerk will call the roll.
And this is a motion to approve the entire application as submitted. Mayor,
Yes?
Mrs. Ehrlich,
Yes.
Mr. Titterington,
Yes.
Mr. Wolke.
Yes.
It is approved.
Okay, before we have our executive session, I understand there is one more item from staff.
Yes, sir. In the past month, everybody knows we had the tornado back in July. One of the issues that came up during that, on the northeast quadrant, we had the cast building. A few months prior, we have, staff brought to you the case for that building to be renovated, repainted. That was approved. Hopefully all you know which building I'm speaking about. It's 2 East Main Street, the cast building, black and white, on the northeast quadrant. During the tornado, 2 chimneys that are on the back side of the property, you can't see them from the alleyway, you can't see them from Walnut, you cannot see them from the square or the quadrant parking area. TCW reached out to their architectural review partner that's approved through SHPO, the State Historic Preservation Office. She, which is Beth, who is in your copy that I gave you of the emails, reached out to SHPO. SHPO kind of gave the approval without doing a full in-depth review that SHPO typically requires. They just gave an opinion that those chimneys, if they were removed or allowed to stay removed, that would be fine. There's no historic significance with those. So we just wanted to bring this back to you to let you know that those chimneys were destroyed. We didn't feel like it needed a full staff write-up or modification, given you can't see them. They didn't know they were even damaged until an aerial was taken from another building. They serve no purpose for the building. They were already approved to do some roofing up there anyways, and all they're going to do is more or less just cap them off below the roof line and roof over them and seal them as needed for that. The two chimneys that actually face the quadrant, those will remain. TCW does know that those are historically significant to the building and character defining features. Those are going to remain and be repaired and renovated along with the building. These two that are further back, we really didn't even know they existed until they told us. So we just wanted to bring that to you, let you know that a prior approval on this site, there is a slight modification to the work that's being done on the roof, but since it's
So planning commission approval is still required?
No, we were just bringing you this update.
I think we need to have it approved. It is an alteration, so I think it does need to be
Okay.
approved.
Okay.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Now, we have a request for a executive session. Actually, as chairman, I'm not sure that I should have this to make the motion.
I don't think this was big enough font, but we'll try harder next time. I move that the Planning Commission recess into executive session to discuss pending litigation.
Second?
Roll call?
Mrs. Early?
Yes.
Mr. Titterington?
Yes.
Mr. Wolke?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
Approved.
We are in executive. Okay, we are back into regular session of the Planning Commission. I understand that the law director is seeking a response regarding a pending litigation.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion that the development director be authorized to sign on behalf of the Planning Commission answers to interrogatories and requests for admission related to the pending litigation between RL Hawk LLC versus the City of Troy Planning Commission and the City of Troy.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Or do we need a roll call?
Probably should have a roll call, just be on the safe side.
All right.
Mr. Titterington?
Yes.
Mr. Wolke?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
Mrs. Early?
Yes.
Approved.
Anything else to come before the commission?
No, we don't, but we do appreciate you guys meeting to take care of these items.
If there's nothing else before the commission, is there a motion to adjourn?
I so move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So carried.
If there's a